So we got lucky. He did not attack us this turn. At least he perhaps tried, but he was unable to make his activation roll, or he hasn't attacked us yet. I don't know. I'm going to go through a couple things here in the east, and then we will move westward. We did get Shelby. Is it Shelby? Mosby. That's right. So we got Mosby this turn. He's pretty awesome. So let's just go through his stats just really quick here. He is a screener, so he's able to screen and mask the movement of the whole force with the clever use of scouts, sidetracks, and subterfuge. +1 to the hide value and the 25% to the evasion value of the stack he is in. So that's pretty impressive. He's a master spy, so he gives you additional intel on neighboring regions. He's a part, which by the way, as you can see here, we got all the intel here now. So we're able to see what he has behind his core here, which looks to be 4 divisions. He's a partisan, so 30% combat bonus and 2 extra protection to all irregular units in the stack. This is only in difficult terrain. And it'll apply to all stacks in the region if he's the most high ranking. But otherwise it'll apply to all elements within his stack. So if he's a division commander but he's not in charge, that's how that works. And then finally he's a very fast cavalryman, so 25% move bonus. Which is different, by the way, than, say, this guy, right? Because he is I think it's like 10%. 25 combat bonus. Okay, sorry. But what is his? He's a 50 seniority. He's a 541, so obviously a good cavalry commander. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to use him yet. In some of my previous CSA games, I use him simply as a deep raider to go behind the line and tear up rail line and so forth, which is largely how he was used in the real Civil War out in Virginia and so forth. But I might incorporate him into my cores or maybe make him a cavalry commander of sorts. Haven't decided yet. We now have what used to be Jackson's corps is now Claiborne. And as you can see, we put Stewart here and took Ewell out. So now we have a 3 defense guy there. Those stats are a little deceptive because we just made him a division commander. And then Claiborne, which is 647, with Lee here as well. And then down here, we now have 4 divisions with Alexander, who has 2 defense. Again, a little deceptive because we just made him into a division. And I don't like having most of my divisions forward like this. I like to have a little bit in the back. But if he attacks me, I'm going to need this to at least, initially kind of blunt the attack. Now, he may attack me. So what I could see him doing is this. I could see him moving this core down to here and then attacking that core here, which is kind of isolated. I only have 2 divisions in there. That's more of my offensive guys because I've got Hood and then obviously Jackson. Which, don't get me wrong, Jackson can defend just as well too, but he's not as good as Longstreet or Claiborne, which tells you how good my corps commanders are out here. And then I can see him moving up right in here. So, and then kind of moving with both of those corps down on, or both of those armies on me. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to respond if he does that yet. I like the fact that I have the mountains here, but I don't like the fact that I'm only in the woods. I prefer either the forest or have a river crossing, which I do have right here. But if he goes around me, it's a different story. So, I could move him up, but then that leaves my rear exposed. So I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I could use 4 core here. That'd be nice. Then Stewart, I'm moving him back. I think we had, I just chased away that cavalry up there. Got a new commander, Wheeler. He's a 541. I'm going to talk to what I'm going to do with him in a moment. AP Hill hanging out here with the division. Again, it's just 311 for now. But the intent is to bring who is it? What's his name? Ewell down to put him in with AP Hill. Got these here. Now, I was kind of a dummy. I built the flatboat here to put here, but there is no port there, so I can't actually dock him there. So I'm going to just go and put him somewhere else that's strategic. I'm going to put him up here. where am I putting him? I think I'm putting him here. Anyways, I'll show you once I get there. I'm trying to build up my supply network. So I'm building a supply wagon, using my supply wagon here to build a supply depot. And a lot of that is to kind of try and push some more supply forward to the front line. Because if there is a considerable number of engagements in the spring and summer, I could see a situation where I'm starting to get low on ammo and supply, since I've got a lot of troops up here in Virginia. That's why I built this one in Lynchburg a little bit ago. As you can see, it already has a bunch of supply. And if we start burning through this forward supply, this is going to be the first thing that gets pulled from there in Richmond. So, now I also goofed with the... oh, that's right. That flatboat way up there, I'm moving all the way down to near Montgomery, which that's fine, whatever. It'll take a while, but it's not anything that's urgent. That's more kind of forward thinking in the event that I lose a lot of my forward placements. Trying to find where I put that other flatboat. Sorry, I'm bouncing around on you here. Where you at? Where you at? There you are. All right. This flatboat is building right here. Is that what I want to do? Pretty sure it's not what I wanted to do. Oh, actually, that's fine. Yeah, okay. I was like, what am I doing here? So I'm building it here because it's on a rail line, and it connects to these supply areas here. So he's on a rail line, so he can push it to the east, push it to the west. Either way, I'm going to have, hopefully now, my deep south pushing some supply east. You know, if not altogether a whole lot, at least some. And then also, again, if I lose my front forward positions, this will be yet another supply depot that I can use to feed my troops. Okay, so that was a little bit longer than I wanted to go into. Next thing I'm doing is I'm moving a bunch of my cavalry to Knoxville. And the reason I'm doing this in Knoxville and then also Smith, Virginia. So, plan is once the winter goes by, I am going to push up through here, up, and then hopefully use these two areas as staging grounds for raiders to penetrate deeper in behind his Kentucky lines here and go after his depot and his rail lines. So I'm moving cavalry and my cavalry commanders over to do that. And then I'm moving Wadey and my Indian troops who are over there in the west over to Knoxville and to do the same thing, to take over these forward positions and then use this as a way to kind of get in behind Kentucky. Because I suspect that he's going to attack me here very soon in Kentucky. What do I think that? Well, he's got Lion back here along with what appears to be a 2-star. So I would imagine he's kind of planning to build another corps there. He's got looks like 4 units inside. He's got a whole bunch of divisions here. That's an awful lot of troops to just be hanging out in Kentucky. And he hasn't really done a whole lot over here. So now, that being said, I don't have great intel there just yet. I'm going to try and get something up in there in the next couple turns to see what he does have back there. But as you can see, his forward position here hasn't changed since he lost Grant in that attack on Paducah. And he had a bunch of those really well-trained divisions over here in Missouri, and it looks like he's pulled back for the most part. He's got a little bit here, but not a whole lot. So I'm suspecting that he's going to be shifting a lot of his troops over to Mississippi and Kentucky, but it looks like the main attack is going to happen down Kentucky. So what I've done is I've restructured my generals. I have Shelby, it's a 5 defense, and Gardner, who's a 5 defense, now in with Beauregard. And then what I'll probably do is I'm thinking about taking actually this corps commander out, put Johnson in charge of the stack, and move him over and put him in charge of the stack, and then just have Beauregard on his own, kind of like I do with Johnson over here. I'm thinking about doing that. And then now I just have the 2 divisions back here in Bowling Green. I'm going to move Morgan forward, again, just to try and keep military control here as long as I can. I've got my deep raider here Quantrill, who I'm having to go like all the way around, and so I can get right up on him there and see what he has, so that hopefully I can kind of get some intel. And then there's Wadey, who's going to be moving over. And I'm building up this guy, McCulloch, to act as probably that additional division over there in Kentucky, if that's where he decides to attack. I'd like to keep 2 divisions back in Memphis, because he can still sail down the river if he wanted. But I also have to try and address where he is actually attacking, which appears to be Kentucky. I took some time to figure this out. I hadn't really quite decided what I was going to do. But I was deciding whether I wanted to use this stack to build a fort here in Atlanta, or if I wanted to build it out in Norfolk. I decided to do it here in Atlanta because the reality is, okay, it's a good spot to have a fort, absolutely. It's also swampland, or marsh, so it's a bit more difficult to take. But the reality is, if he really wanted to take it, he could take it. You know, he could land a corps of 3 divisions and get this, even if I had a fortification there. And because of the river, it'd be very difficult for me to assault any sort of land force that he makes landfall with. And if he maintains most of what he has up here, it's just going to be very difficult. Like, basically, he could take his divisions back here, put them on a boat, land them in Norfolk, and he would still have enough power and force here to keep me from really shifting any of these troops off this line. So I just feel like that would be a waste of money and resources to put it here, even though I'd like to. So I built it in Atlanta, since we definitely know if we lose Richmond, we're going to have to keep Atlanta. So I can lose Norfolk, I can't lose Atlanta. Decided to build out there. We're building our level 2 one in New Orleans. So that's now happening here. Let's see if we can see it. Nope, this area is. So we're going to start that this turn. And I'm almost got these guys built up. I've got stuff coming down. I'm building some Arkansas guys this turn. They're going to come down here and finish off rounding out those divisions down there. It's still got probably, 2 months on this before it's done? We're 2 turns in, get 2 more or 4 more turns to go. So hopefully it's done before he makes his way all the way down. We'll see. And then over here in the west, far west, I guess you'd say, got 1 division holding down our far left flank. And until the weather clears, we'll be okay here. After that, who knows? And then the far west, he's been kind of a booger over here. He's taking some forts. So I'm going to go take them back once the mud clears up. But otherwise, we got that force there holding down our far west. And then we got this guy here. We got who we got from East Arizona. And I'm wondering if I get military control of this, if this will give me this back as a strategic location. Because right now he has it. So I might go take that back. Just to get the victory points. I'm building one more supply wagon there. 1 more true infantry guy. As you can see, we need 118 replacements right now. We only have 11 in pocket. 1 more cavalry because we're running low on cavalry. Although I need more cavalry, honestly. And then you can see artillery, and a lot of this was from last turn. The only new stuff this turn are the Arkansas guys. So these 2 guys right here. Those are the new ones. Everything else was last turn. And then our works get started. So we are building rail pool. Next turn, if I have the money, I'll put it into river pool. He's digging in up in Kentucky. So I don't know. I'm still thinking he's going to attack me. Blockade runner's got 6 money, 8 war supply this turn. We got some victory somewhere. Oh, it wasn't even a fight. Got 200 rifles, 400 prisoners. So we didn't have to fight for those. Actually, we did. It was this one. 1170 versus 80,000. That's right. I want to know, did, wow, so I have 80,000 troops just right here. That's what I'm talking about. I got a lot of troops in Virginia right now. Just looking through here, see if there's anything else. Ooh, got some epidemics going on. Hey, we smuggled some bales of cotton, so we get 50 bucks for that too. Alright, so I think that's all to report. Let's run the turn and then see what happened. Holy hell! Do I have a surprise for you? But before we get to it, I'm going to disclose it to you towards the end because it's a doozy and it's going to make this game very interesting. Before we do that, I just want to show you the overall where we're at in the game. Okay, so I know we covered this just a little bit earlier, but if for whatever reason you didn't see that part of the video, we've lost 48-7 total troops in the war so far, which isn't too bad considering we're almost 2 full years into the war. We've taken 19,400 prisoners, and he's lost 63,500 troops. He has 32-3 on the victory point scale. He's getting 46 a turn. We're getting 51 a turn. We also have 45-25 on the victory points. And then his morale is 86, and ours is 120. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to shift my corps here under Jackson forward. And I'm going to do this for 2 reasons. 1, it's mountainous terrain, so it's good defensive terrain. And 2, it prevents him from, I guess you'd say, like maneuvering. So he can still come to Clark, Virginia, right? And I think he can attack my center without crossing the river. But having this corps forward, I think gives me the opportunity of being able to essentially hit him in the rear, so to speak. And so what's going to force him to do, I think, is put more troops in Clark, Virginia, if he wants to, in fact, attack down into where Claiborne's at. It just seems like a better position overall because then I prevent him from getting the mountainous terrain, which is a very good defensive area, and which would basically put me in a situation where I either have to wait for him to attack me in the woods or I have to fall back behind the river. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to move Jackson forward. I'm moving AP Hill up here to the mountainous terrain with 1 division. That's not a whole lot, given that he's got 3 divisions here, but I have 1 division under a solid division commander who's a 5-3-3. He's in mountainous terrain, and he would have to cross a river to attack him. So he's either going to have to hope for the best by crossing a river with 3 divisions and attack me with division commanders that aren't that great on offense. As you can see, Porter's got a 4 defense, but that's it. He's got terrible attack generals. Or he can try and go around my flank where I have Stuart. So what I'm doing is I'm peeling a division off of here, off the front. I'll explain more in a few because that kind of goes to my big doozy that I'm going to throw on you. But I'm pulling him off, and so what we're effectively going to have here is we're going to have 3 corps under Longstreet on our right flank, which is 2 defense under B, 3 defense under McLaws, and a 3 defense under D.H. Hill. And I'll have a elite division here. In my center, I will have 2 elite divisions, mainly because my hope is that they will respond to the sound of guns and go left or right. And so I'll have 2 elites here with a 2 defense under Kirby Smith, 3 defense under Stewart, and a 2 defense under Forrest, although I'm going to move him as soon as I can. I'll explain more in a bit. And then I'm moving an elite up to my left flank to join up with Jackson. That's obviously Early, who's a 3 defense. And then I have Jackson moving forward, has a elite, and then a regular division, so a 2 defense, and then a 1 defense under John Bell Hood. So that's my overall disposition. I did get another elite brigade this turn under right here. However, I'm moving him to the western front, as I will explain more later on. And then I'm going to move Ewell forward to the center, and I'm going to basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace Stuart with Ewell. So that's a significant decrease in my defense, but that's because I'm going to move Stuart to my left flank, and then I'm going to move Evans back into AP Hill's division and replace this 311 with that 322. So I'm going to replace that guy with Evans, who's a 322. Okay, so our disposition here in Virginia was pretty solid. Why are we doing all of this? Well, I'm glad you asked. That's why. So he has just a behemoth of a force in Kentucky. Like, holy God. He's clearly going to attack me in Kentucky. So he's got Sherman, he's got Gibbon. So Gibbon's an excellent commander. He's got Sherman, who's also an excellent commander. He then also has, I think he has one other commander in here that's pretty damn good. Yeah, I don't know who is in Franklin or Howard's corps. If I recall correctly, Franklin's a decent corps commander, although it could be wrong. But then, he's also got a two attack division commanders in here, which, for those of you who play the Union, that's not too bad for division commanders. So, what I anticipate he's going to do, this is what I would do if I was him. I don't know if I would do it this turn, but I would do it soon. I would move forward with Buell onto Beauregard's front, because he has twice as many troops. Or he would just hold pat here. He might not even attack, which I would imagine he probably wouldn't even attack yet. He would move most of this along the river, down around, and land near or on Bowling Green. He would either land, just west of Bowling Green, get a nice little solid footing, and then attack Bowling Green, which is probably what I would do. Or he would land on Bowling Green, kind of hope for the surprise attack, because he probably doesn't really know what I have back here yet. The reason I say that is I've got my cavalry forward here. He had a little bit of cavalry there, but I still had my cavalry in Bowling Green, so I don't think he was able to see what I had there. And the last time, he was dealing with my forces in Kentucky, I only had like 3 divisions. So I don't know if I don't know if he knows that I have this back here yet, but I could see him sailing around, just landing on Bowling Green. This is definitely a precarious situation to be in, because if he takes Bowling Green or lands on Bowling Green, I have 3 divisions that are pretty much cut off. I'd have to go through the winter harsh weather. I probably couldn't even get through there to get basically out of this pinch. So I'm backing off right now. I'm moving back to Bowling Green. I don't like giving up this position because of the river, but it's obviously more important to me that I preserve my 3 divisions, 2 of which are some of my best division commanders in the West, than risk the chance of him just landing on Bowling Green out of nowhere. So I'm going to pull back. If he does land, then I'll have 5 divisions here, which will be, I think, an equal match for whatever he tries to attack me with, just with this. Now, obviously, if he moved forward with this as well, that's a different story, but I don't see him being able to make that move all the way down to Bowling Green plus land at the same time. But anyways, so I'm going to give up this position. I'm going to move him back. Excuse me, sorry. I'm going to move Johnson's corps back to Montgomery, Tennessee. And that way I'll have my rail lines protected, I'll be in a good position, and then I'll have probably something back here. But that's why I'm moving a full division from Virginia all the way back here, because I need to even the odds over here. It looks like he is not going to make a move on me on the Mississippi. As you can see, his force is actually a little bit weaker now, although he has 2 more division commanders there, so I don't know what that's all about. So I'm going to maintain 2 divisions here. What I'm doing is I'm peeling off Breckinridge, who's a 3 defense, and sending him over to Bowling Green. I'm moving McCulloch up to Paducah to replace that division up there. He's a 2 defense, so he's not as good, and he's also not elite. But it looks like the battles are going to be in Kentucky. So I'm shifting them all to Bowling Green, and then I'm going to shift that one corps back. And then I'm hoping that should be enough to stem the tide. We shall see. Additionally, what I'm doing is I'm going to set up my cavalry in 2 spots. I'm going to set them up here in Smith, Virginia. That's going to be my Indians. And what I'm going to do as soon as the winter goes away, I'm going to push up to Floyd, Kentucky, and then I'm going to push up to Lawrence, Ohio, where there's a depot. I'm going to use that as a staging ground, hopefully, to go and harass his rail lines and disrupt any west to east rail activity that he can conduct. Now, as you can see, I got to get pretty far up there to do it, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to fully accomplish my task. But at a minimum, if I can kind of get up here near Ohio, Franklin, Ohio, he's got 2 arsenals there. It's a state capital. It's a depot. I could do some real havoc if I can get at least up to that. So that's what I'm going to do with my Indians. And then I'm going to move Mosby over here to Knoxville. And I'm going to form up a force with him with a combination of cavalry, these raiders, and then some horse artillery. And I'm going to push up in the kind of center of Kentucky. So kind of right up the middle here towards like Lexington and perhaps Louisville. And then finally, what I'm going to do with my third, kind of my left, I guess, flank of cavalry is with Morgan, because as you can see, he's got this deep raider trait. I'm going to go in from the west. I'm going to go in and take out Overton, Tennessee, and then go north, and then hopefully take out perhaps one of these depots, if not the rail lines, and just really try and harass his supply lines in the summertime. So we'll see if if I'm able to do that. I will admittedly say I'm not the best with cavalry. I'm still kind of learning how to do that. Learning how to be an effective raider, an effective destroyer of supply lines, but we'll see. And then I am moving Wheeler over, and he's going to kind of act as my kind of I guess like my Mississippi type cavalry guy, and his probably purpose will be kind of ever evolving as I kind of figure out how to fit him into the fray of things. As far as what I'm building this turn, I'm building more infantry, some cavalry, and that's about it. I'm totally out of money. I built a partisan unit over here in Knoxville area. He's going to follow up the Indians to try and destroy these depots. That's why I built him. I'm also going to move a 311 general down here and put Winder up to take over that division that I'm moving from the east. He's going to take over that one as a 2 defense guy. That's why I'm doing that. So yeah, it's a total mess right now. It's like, if anything, this kind of puts a foot stomp on the importance of scouting. Had I not scouted him, I would have had no idea this was back here, and it would have taken me by surprise when he landed on Bowling Green. So it's a good thing I did it. I probably did it in the nick of time, to be honest with you, because I would imagine that attack was coming pretty soon. He only has a 1 depot and a 1 depot here, so I'm guessing he's banking on taking Bowling Green pretty quick to supply this much here. But that being said, I don't know how much he's accumulated over the last year or two. He just built this depot here, and I want to say this one's relatively new as well. Finally, as far as action cards are concerned, I spent a lot on doing requisitions. So it gets me $35,000, but it costs me 10 loyalty, 10 military control, a victory point, and 2 development points. So it's pretty costly. So I try and do it in areas where I have 100% loyalty, like here, and I try not to do it on the rail line wherever possible, just because it does affect your development. Which, speaking of which, let's try and take that off of there, and maybe I can put it somewhere else. I didn't realize I put that in the rail line. Because your military control, well, not your military, your development definitely affects the speed with which you can use your rail line. And part of the reason too I don't like necessarily putting in places where I have 80 loyalty is the lower the loyalty, the more likely they can basically, or he can slap down some partisans in those areas, which can create some heartache. Alright, I can probably do it here. That's a pretty major rail line though. How about down here? I promise I'm almost done. I just want to get this last one down. And part of the reason I picked the number of requisitions that I'm doing is I'm also trying to balance it with my conscript numbers. There's no point, getting a bunch of money that you can't burn. So I might have even overdone it here. We might as well just do it here. This is fine. I don't think that's a supply depot. It's not. Okay. Alright, so that concludes everything, although I want to look at one final thing here. Is it still mud? Nope, clear weather. What I'll probably do is I'm going to attack him, get him out of the way, and then get him out of the way. I don't know why he's taking these forts, but I'm going to make sure he doesn't hold on to them. So, alright, let's simulate the turn and see what happens.